We're going back to Cali. Alabama football punching its ticket to Santa Clara, California, Levi Stadium for a national championship game. Its third national title matchup with the Clemson Tigers. Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide earning a 45-34 win over the Oklahoma Sooners at Hard Rock Stadium for the Orange Bowl in Miami Gardens, Florida. Over the weekend, yours truly, Stephen Smith, I'm back live in studios from my trip to Florida on what is the hottest form of Alabama football talk. This is In My Own Words via Touchdown Alabama magazine. Ladies and gentlemen, Christmas Day over, but 2019, the new year, just around the corner, and resolutions already being made. Whether yours is becoming more health conscious or dropping a bad habit, or maybe it's being or using more wisdom with your finances, if your New Year's resolution just so happens to be becoming one with your favorite college football team, what better way to do that than downloading the Touchdown Alabama magazine app? People, this is your number one source. This is your stop shop for all things Crimson Tide football. We are hitting you with practice recaps, game recaps, highlights, recruiting, press conferences, player interviews. We're getting you all the news and notes on former Tide players that are balling out in the National Football League. If you want to go into 2019 being the insider for all things Tide football, you download this app. You can get it from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store for all things Team Android, Touchdown Alabama magazine app. But just my thoughts from the Orange Bowl. In the words of one of my favorite all-time rappers, hip-hop artists, MCs, Marshall Mathers, better known as Eminem or Slim Shady, will the real Heisman Trophy winner please stand up? And boy, did the young man from Hawaii rocking the crimson and white, the throwing Samoan, the powerful Polynesian, double T in the morning. I'm talking about Tua Tagovailoa. Did he stand up and stand out in the Orange Bowl? Forget the 80 to 85%. This guy was operating at a full-fledged clip. We're talking 24 of 27 passes completed, 88.9% for 318 passing yards with 4 touchdowns, no turnovers. This was the 6th time this season where he had a game in which he tossed for at least 300 yards and had at least 4 touchdowns. There was one point in the game where Tagovailoa had more passing yards than Oklahoma had total yards. In the first quarter, Tagovailoa for 149 passing yards. In the first quarter for Oklahoma, 24 total yards. He was pivotal in helping the Tide convert 7 of 10 third downs. The Tide being able to control time of possession, which seems like a meaningless stat, but when you're facing a team like Oklahoma, it's a pretty good stat to have in your corner. Tagovailoa's 318 passing yards in that game put him at 3,671 for the season, giving him the single-season passing record where yards are concerned, him supplanting Blake Sims, who had 3,487 yards in 2014. So, left leg looked good, arm exceptional as always, him getting the Tide to the national championship game. The number 2 guy, in my opinion, that had just a dynamic performance, and this did not come as a shock to me. During the media day on Thursday of last week prior to the game, got a chance to talk with tight end Hale Henches, and he mentioned a lot on how Josh Jacobs was just all the more angry on last week. He turned it up a notch, and for a guy that we expect to play well, did his thing. In the run game, 15 carries for 98 yards, averaged 6.5 yards a pop, had a long run of 19 yards, but his efforts as a receiver, that's what stole the show. Josh Jacobs, 4 catches for 60 yards, averaged 15 yards a catch, including a 27-yard run where the Oklahoma defender that was in his way met his maker. I mean, it was game, set, truck stick match. Josh Jacobs gets the dump-off pass, knocks eyes with the OU defender, ran him over as he made his way into the painted grass for the score. Big-time game for Josh. Had 158 all-purpose yards on 19 touches. The moment he touched the ball, the demon inside of him was on. He took over. Shouts out to Josh Jacobs. Big-time performance. NFL scouts were watching. Does he take to the NFL after this season? Once again, remains to be seen. But scouts were watching that game, and he had a big-time showing. My third guy, as great as Alabama's wide receiving core is, and all of those receivers are great, all of those guys have something that make them stand out to Tide fans and NFL scouts. When you look at Jerry Jeudy, he's the total package, right? Size, speed, hands, route running, Fred Biletnikoff Award winner, consensus All-American. He's the total package. When you look at Jalen Waddle, the guy's a cheetah. Speed, speed, speed. He's got a different type of speed. He's got a different type of acceleration. When you look at Henry Ruggs, he's tough, he's physical, he's a baller, he can elevate and make catches. He's just got that toughness factor. Irv Smith Jr., physical freak at tight end. All of these guys have something that makes them special. But when I look at Devonta Smith, what gravitates me more so to him is Smitty just has a knack for picking the moments where he makes the stage his own. He has a knack for saying, Jerry Jeudy, you my brother, you good, I love you, but this is my moment. Henry Ruggs, you my brother, you a beast, I'm gonna have my race with you soon and I'm gonna beat you, but right now this is my moment. Jalen Waddle, you a cheater, you that dude, but this is my moment. And this has come in so many times, going back to the national championship game against Georgia, the 41-yard game-winning touchdown. The regular season matchup in 2017 against Mississippi, it was Devonta Smith that caught the 10-yard slant pass from Jalen Hurts, broke a tackle, ran 16 more yards to turn it into a 26-yard game-winning touchdown. And Smitty struck again against Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl. This kid, 6 catches, team high, for 104 receiving yards, team high, had a touchdown reception in the game for 10 yards, averaged 17.3 yards a catch, had a long reception of 50 yards in the first quarter. It was one of the first plays of that opening period. Smitty, Damian Harris said it right. And I remember talking to him after the game. Harris said, Smitty's not the fastest guy, he's not the most athletic guy, but he's smooth as silk and no one is able to jam him off the line of scrimmage. Once he gets off the line of scrimmage, he is having his way, he is breaking into the open field, he's making plays, and it's like Tua's got a connection with all the receivers. Don't get me wrong. Tua has a connection with everybody on that field. But when it comes down to, I need a big play, I need a massive play, I need a guy that's going to make the jugular type of play, he always looks toward number 6, and Devonta Smith is always finding a way to make a play. I always revert back to the open practice in August in 2017 where I spoke with Cam Sims, and Cam Sims pointed me in the direction, took my hand, and led me in the direction of this 6'1", soaking wet, 165-pound kid at the time, and said, Steven, Tay, that's the guy, that's the beast, that's the baller, that's the one that's gonna go get it. And ever since then, Devonta Smith has proved Cam Sims right, and Devonta Smith has become one of my favorite players. Smitty balled out, picking his moment, and he did it again in the Orange Bowl. He's my third guy. Flipping this over to the defense, we check out my fourth guy, standout from the Orange Bowl, Xavier X-Man McKinney. X had a big-time game. Deontay Thompson played well. There were some guys on the front line that played well, but X had a huge impact. 5 tackles, tied for second on the team. He had 4 pass breakups. His arms, his hands were all around the football. Had 4 pass breakups to lead the team. Should have had 2 picks. X dropped 2 interceptions right in his hands. He wishes he could have those 2 back, but what a game he had. Right place, right time, defended well, broke on the ball well, made big plays. Got to give X his credit. He balled out. And the 5th guy, last but not least, got to go with Anthony Jennings at linebacker. And Anth filled out the stat sheet. Jennings, 4 tackles, including a tackle for loss, had a sack of Kyler Murray, and he had a pass breakup. So Jennings, pretty good job filling out that stat sheet for the Crimson Tide. So running back over these again, just my guys that really had a big showing in the Orange Bowl. Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback, Josh Jacobs at running back, Devonta Smith at wide receiver, Xavier X-Man McKinney, defensive back, showed out, and Anthony Jennings at outside linebacker filled out the stat sheet for the Crimson Tide. But that takes us, folks, to our first break. Don't touch that dial. We're just getting started. When we get back, we dive into and we set up the trilogy. It's round 4 overall, but the trilogy in terms of national championships between Alabama and Clemson. We break down Tua Tagovailoa, Trevor Lawrence, and this entire matchup. On the other side of the break, you're listening to In My Own Words, people. We're coming back.